So you're a complete stranger to me who just tried to make the ultimate decision to end my life because you raped me with a terrorist group, even though I spent 3 years messaging all of you all of this evidence for 3 years. And I'm no longer allowed to contact anyone in the Democratic Party because you're all going to get charged with raping me. And then all of Trump's people are getting charged with rape, so we have no law, we have no democratic process, and everything is completely dissolving into chaos because all of you would rather bully a white woman doing her job and not do your job because you all raped her. So you all raped her, won her stuff, and now you're not going to do your jobs whenever she's the only person doing her job. And you have her living in here in filth and poverty with cockroaches all over her books because you want to have her raped and murdered and steal her things. So Michael builds homeless shelters and you guys are trying to make her homeless with critical poverty for no reason. After practicing slavery for years on this girl. Rape slavery. Not slavery. Rape slavery. So you're all getting charged and you intimidated the witness today? Every single one of you. Because you're all raping and murdering people and acting like it's okay and that this is normal and that this is the law. That you show up and rape and murder and intimidate a federal witness who is a federal investigator into all of you because she's vice president-elect, and so she federally investigated every single one of you and found this terrorist rape network, and you're refusing to put her on the news and have the governor threaten her, and you won't put her on the news. Because she made terrorist threats, because you gang raped her with a terrorist group who's planning to do school shootings, so she should stop calling the governor because she won't talk to strange cops who showed up at her door screaming that she's a terrorist. Okay, so none of these charges make any sense and you just don't give a shit? You're making jokes about forcing to make her learn to read in Braille? You want to make her blind and homeless and rape and murder her? Man, it's like like us as the community, we're just like, what the fuck? So so you guys just admitted to raping and murdering a ton of civil rights leaders on purpose and calling them terrorists? Because you raped her with a group that holds up signs saying that they're terrorists. But you never showed up on their doorstep and said, hey, you can't be terrorists and work here in the police department. You gave them jobs at the police department as terrorists who hold up terrorist signs and bully little kids outside of school. And Michael's building schools for kids and you're trying to have her raped and murdered? So because all of you have brain worms and she doesn't. Michael, this is Obama. This is not legal, so. This is going to affect all of us. Do you guys recognize that? So you don't care that she's special? So you're admitting that she's a terrorist and that you've had her under surveillance for how long? Okay, so she's not a terrorist and you know that she's not a terrorist, but you've been illegally surveilling her? Okay, so she's vice president-elect, so you've been surveilling her for years now? Okay, so she hasn't done or said anything wrong, but you have the governor down here threatening her like this is the fucking Walking Dead, because it's about to be. So she's just supposed to tell all these cops that she's like psychic, like with no protection? She doesn't know what their reaction could be. She doesn't know them. They did not look friendly. He was like walking back and forth like he was gonna fucking like punch a fucking grown woman for no punch his boss. How old was he? Like 25? How old was the older fucking dude? Like fucking 40? They both look like James Tallarico, like little copy prints of James Tallarico. And we know he can't handle a rape report for shit and blocked her. And then Gretchen's going, yeah, you're a terrorist now. So we're going to give you to terrorists to have you violently raped and murdered. And we're like, so you know she's going to be violently raped and murdered. Or you're going to try to, like, illegally murder her one way or the other with these fucking groups of people. And you're acting like you're empowering. You're, like, so, like, loved. And everybody, like, loves you and, like, hates Michael. You ain't even let her talk to nobody. The only time you did is whenever you tried to introduce her as a psychopath, schizophrenic instead of vice president-elect. And she ain't even schizophrenic. You just lying. Because she's smart and beautiful and builds spaceships and gets... She said that she can make us $100 billion in tourism in the first week because she's Jesus fucking Christ. And the first fucking female pope any of us have ever fucking seen. You discriminated her, telling her she can't even be pope at the Catholic Church because she's a woman. Let alone the fact that she's trying to, like, not even trying, she is vice president-elect. And she is vice president here in the future. So she survives, and Gretchen, she can't hear you in here in the future, and those are the decisions that you're going to make. Okay, so how exactly does this work out whenever she's going to be homeless in a month with no pay? And you just threatened her on her fucking residence whenever she told you if you did that it could be the death penalty for you as officers. Okay, do you want to try and show up back here and tell her what to do whenever she's your boss? Okay, none of you have a verified 3-year fucking vice president campaign, and none of it wouldn't even make any sense. You would just be like, I'm president, I just want to run for office now. No, you don't, and you ain't even going to be allowed to because it ain't the program Michael running, which is even more fucking motive for y'all to show up over here. Is that Michael is saying no male lawyers on her cases. No male officers. No men. So, like, I mean, there's no men involved in this. Does that make sense? Because none of you are going to stand up for her. And then you want to send a bunch of prejudiced people at her. You know, Michael's staring death in the face today. She knows that she's going to die for running for vice president-elect. She knows that she can't even stand in front of her fucking window because she knows that she could be assassinated. She's the Jewish Messiah, and you guys have been targeting her with rape and gang raped her multiple fucking times and broke into her residence and drugged her multiple times. Yes, these fears are backed up by evidence of which she's given us numerous times. And her eyewitness testimony as vice president-elect is enough to put these people in fucking prison forever. They're terrorists, a domestic terrorist group. You walked up here on her property, called her a terrorist whenever she builds schools for children. And Trump is trying to defund all the fucking schools. And all you accept motherfucking gun business funding. She can see those girls that make those, like, creepy little faces, like, mimicking all of her speeches. Like those little TikTok girls just mimicking her speeches. It's just bizarre the way that you guys are treating her. You know what I mean? Acting like she's not a celebrity when every single one of us knows who the fuck she is. Now, every single cop knows who she is. She's a terrorist, right? I mean, like, what the fuck is all of y'all's problem? And then you acting like you did something whenever you have repeatedly drugged her. You drugged her in the ambulance before any of that happened. And then you just showed up on her property and called her a terrorist after you drugged her in an ambulance and gang raped her on camera at the jail and prison and tried to murder her by crucifying her to a cross on camera. And now you're trying to take her, violently rape and murder her, violently traumatize her. He called her Mikey, like he knows who she is, and then told us that the governor called her a terrorist and threatened her to withhold rape footage where we can very clearly see she's been raped multiple fucking times by all of your abuses, and you never once made even one phone call down here to get this rape evidence. Not even one phone call, not one email. But now she's a terrorist who should just die of homelessness when she made all of the plans to make sure all of us would never be homeless and would eat forever again. She even made open gardens where you go in and you pay like $5. You go in and you pick anything that you want. And it's $5 because you walk through the fucking garden and it's fun as shit. Fucking cockroach on the fucking wall. leaving. Hey Heath, can you help me clean up this trash in here? Not right now. Okay. Cleaning up trash gives Heath a headache. Heath gets debilitating headaches anytime he even listens to music or goes to a shower, has a sip of beer, and then so he just is kind of a homebody because he just always gets sick, critically sick anytime he has any kind of level of fun. On our first date at the Tool show, he got really sick and had to go back and was thrown up in the car, and I went with him. And then he just was never able to even sustain being in the party ever after that. He just always got sick and threw up and had to go home. Can't stand heat and can't stand loud noises, and he can barely even sustain me talking in a low tone sitting next to him in bed, because that's how severe his headaches are. And he never has any time off work, and he's always sick. And I mean, he plays video games all the time and he's fine. I think he just, I don't know, I might be able to cure his headaches if whatever. It's just weird that everybody's trying to have me raped, murdered, and call me a terrorist instead of giving me an education whenever I make WMDs. And so I think that that's the problem, is that they're trying to label me a terrorist just so they can even steal my WMDs here, which is sad because I make WMDs for a living, and a WMD is really light travel and things like that, and they have my resume and they know that I make light travel, and so they're trying to call my work weapons of mass destruction whenever they're all raping and murdering kids and getting charged for it. So the Democratic Party just told me, a $1 trillion scientist who stopped World War III with time travel, that I'm a terrorist and that they're trying to charge me with being a terrorist, so I can't even do math. So I, as a woman, am not allowed to do math because the Democratic Party said so, because I'm now a terrorist based on this. And because I make such powerful technology, they're trying to take all of my technology by calling me a terrorist, by refusing me rape evidence, and trying to make me have a psychotic breakdown by repeatedly raping me, calling me crazy, pumping me full of medication, taking out my intestine, terrorizing me, calling me names, calling me by my family name, Mikey, calling me a terrorist whenever they're a terrorist group, a blatant terrorist group, gang rape me, which is blatant gaslighting and narcissistic gaslighting. And now they're trying to steal all of this beautiful WMD math because I'm Goodwill Hunting, and they're just trying to steal my work. I mean, this is all 100% to make it so that I can't live my life, and then they want to have me raped. They've already had me raped multiple times. They raped me, tried to make me have an abortion. And because, I mean, they gang raped me and then they anally raped me. And I'm really confused and frustrated why the Democratic Party is withholding all of this information when they've let these people kill multiple children, and they just let these people just walk up on my property and threaten me. And they're trying to take all my work and all my technology and all my WMD technology because they think that, they can just somehow steal the power and the weaponry of God. And ye are all about to be judged. And I feel sad because the only terrorist in the situation is all of you. You're all the terrorists, and I'm the only one who's not, because I'm the only one who tried to save the world. And at this point, I think I would welcome death because I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not allowed to do math. I'm not allowed to succeed. I'm not allowed to be pretty because you stalked me to the gym repeatedly and tried to shoot up a gym I went to. And I'm not allowed to be on the news, and I'm not allowed to speak for myself, and I'm not allowed to get rape evidence because you all keep deleting it. And I'm not allowed to be religious because I'm a woman. Because you're afraid of the powers of a woman because you keep raping women and children, but specifically just women. I've got hundreds of missing kids on my phone who I can not only resurrect, but I can prevent from going missing. So I prevent all the kids from going missing, and get them communicators and make Infinity Perpetual engines. I made a communicator drone program so that none of the kids ever go missing, and I made a computer drone program so none of the kids ever go missing. And I'm the terrorist whenever you guys take him and kidnap him over $5 in chips. Took her walking her dog, huh? Right. So I'm a target of extreme violence, even just being Jewish already, let alone the Jewish Messiah, let alone a great and prophesized political figure, let alone a great mathematician, let alone just an intelligent woman in any industry. I can't even work at McDonald's without being intelligent, without being harassed at somebody who just wants to drive through and then just harass me and be like trying to swindle you out of like $20 or something whenever they got $1 million in the bank just because they want to, and you tell them no, and then they throw a fucking drink at you, and then you're throwing punches at them. I tell people that I make a fucking program where I'm selling crack on the fucking side of the street to all these kids, and it's just all my money blocks, which are worth fortunes. Fucking whole games are won and lost with those blocks. Whole civilizations are made and won with those blocks. And then I keep getting filled with the toxic amount of hope every single day and knowledge about law that I shouldn't know or have. And part of me saying those things and making those threats to you, first of all, is because I'm vice president-elect and I can say whatever the fuck I please to any single one of you. Because you're committing domestic terrorism by having raped me and withholding rape evidence. You're a terrorist. Secondly, I will proudly and confidently admit to those threats because you're not going to keep doing this to anybody in this nation whenever I am the only qualified police officer here, based on the fact that I would have immediately gotten that rape evidence to the victim. Because that is what a police officer is supposed to do. He should have showed up here and been like, hey, this is the rape evidence. Call a lawyer. Get the rape evidence to somebody. This is a list of people and a list of rape lawyers who you can contact and civil rights lawyers. They are legally obligated to pick up the phone for you. That's what a woman would have done. That's what I would do as an officer. That's my plan for women. I go around with a list of civil rights and life rights and rape lawyers, and I say, call one of them. But you can't do that with these officers here because they would be their buddies covering up crimes for them. I'm your boss, and I confidently say that, yes, I did make those threats because you're working with a terrorist group and a domestic terrorist group. As your boss, I'm telling you this is what you did. That you raped a woman and tried to steal all of her things. And you need to be charged and removed from the situation. And I would execute you because that was premeditated rape on behalf of your part as women, where you all just showed up and admitted it. Like all of you all at once. Like you, Trump, Gretchen, Rashida, all of you all at once just admitted to raping Michael, in a giant trifecta of giant fucking rape charges on all of you. Because you just called the police on her to intimidate her as a witness, to tell her that you're not going to give her rape footage. And that she should just be homeless and she'll never get justice and she should just die. See her openly just committing murder and terrorism for theft. When she's very confidently the smartest person we've ever met, and you're trying to charge her with terrorism and steal her WMDs, and you're going to come back here and you're going to murder and arrest her. Or you're going to murder her on the spot and then sell all of her shit. When we're all watching, why are you doing this to yourself, Alexandria? Like, why would you do this to yourself? Like, why are you as a Democratic Party doing this to yourselves? Like, why? Like, why do you keep hitting yourselves, is my question. So then are you admitting to murdering those two people who got stabbed with the Democratic Party, so the Democratic Party's murdering their own so that all of you as women can try and make money off this tragedy of all these girls being raped who you all raped? With Trump by not answering the phone whenever the girls called. So all the Epstein-Weinstein victims who didn't get put on the list, you're trying to have them call you so that you can threaten them in the same terroristic things and show up at their residences too, and you're trying to control Michael's case to do it? against Epstein and Weinstein affiliates who threatened to have her raped and murdered. So you're all completely ignoring all evidence and you're just calling her a terrorist because you took all the evidence down offline and a targeted attack against her. So you just don't care? You don't care about any of the public's feelings at a job that the public votes you to be in? You as a rapist are trying to steal her light travel engine, and you're Star Trek Voyager now, huh? When Michael's gonna build a U-boat out here, do you even know what a U-boat from Star Wars is? Oh wait, you do, because you've been researching all the ships from Star Wars to try to steal Michael's ideas. You know, all those variations of all these ships that Michael's gonna build of all of these themed spaceships. You don't have access to any of this as the Democratic Party. You just called the hero of the hero villain of the superhero supervillain party, the superest heroist superest villainous superhero supervillain of all the parties. You just showed up at her residence and threatened her with cops. You just threatened the Terminator with police officers. Why are you guys doing this shit? Just because you're rapists? Just because you're rapists who want her money? Damn. The plans that she's made for the United States are fucking beautiful, and you want to steal her vision? For what? None of us even like you. You're not going to make first contact. You're not going to murder and rape her for her things that make first contact. You guys know that? So you never want aliens to land? Okay, well, you don't get to decide that for everybody. Because you don't want aliens to land because you want to rape and murder everybody? Well, we already told you no. You're not going to call her a terrorist and then steal all of her multiverse math and all of her jobs. That punk Spider-Man job is Michael's sister's. And so is making and directing and writing the movie, and so is X-Files. Yeah, no, you're welcome. She'll never work with Bill again today. He let officers show up on her door and try and murder her. So yeah, no, opportunity rescinded. You all let them show up on her doorstep and call her a fucking terrorist for asking for fucking rape evidence, and you're gonna tell her to pray for her life and rape and murder her in fucking handcuffs. That's the most racist shit I've ever heard in my life, Rashida. It's just the fact that you're trying to act like you're a victim because you raped her repeatedly. Okay, so the cop showing up here, is that her being schizophrenic too? Telling her that she's a terrorist because she's telling you to charge the terrorist group?